Ever since PUBG's success, developers have been climbing out of the woodwork to try to capitalize on that Battle Royale formula. Epic Games doing Fortnite was a massive success. Since then, we've seen Darwin Project, Radical Heights, Death Toll, and even Paladins coming out with their Realm Royale. But what if I told you there was a game you probably haven't even heard of? And it honestly shadows all of them, or at least PUBG. Let's talk about this. This game is Ring of Elysium. It's being developed by Tencent and a company called Europa. Now, Tencent was actually in charge of porting over PUBG to mobile, so they actually partnered with Bluehole Studios and PUBG Corp prior to actually making this game. Now, what's interesting about this game is if you were to set somebody down in front of it on a computer and have them start playing it, if they already played PUBG and you didn't tell them what this is, they might actually think this is a new update for PUBG or PUBG 2.0 altogether, because the games are just that similar. Now, I know what you're saying. Brandon, this is just a PUBG clone. There's no way this game's going to take off. There's no way it's going to survive long enough when you got the giant PUBG or Fortnite hanging around. I mean, why would you even bother playing this blatant ripoff? And normally, I would agree with you. With the exception of Rules of Survival, which is a mobile version of PUBG, and it's literally just a direct clone, I'm really not a fan of clones or ripoffs, especially on the Battle Royale genre. But I like Rules of Survival because it's mobile and I can take it with me and it runs a lot better than PUBG Mobile. With that being said, when I heard about this game, everybody was saying it was better than PUBG. It was more optimized, it took the elements that PUBG did good and did it better. So that had me very interested, and I decided, you know what, I've got to install this, I've got to play it, and I've got to see what all the fuss is about. So yeah, here we are. Now, this game's only available in the Asian market. Right now it's in closed beta for Thailand and Indonesia. It's only got Asian servers, so getting the game is a little bit of a trick, but you can do it. It's not hard. There's tutorials on Reddit. If you guys are even interested after this video, you can always ask, and I'll do a quick video showing you how to get it and install it, and even patch it to make it English. But as of right now, this game has no anticipated date to come out in North America. It's only in Asia. Alright, so let's talk about what this game does better than PUBG. First of all, netcode. The netcode in this game is amazing. Like I said, this game runs on Asian servers, so I'm playing from North America, and I'm able to play this game. My ping's still around 200 milliseconds, but you really don't notice it. The only time you really notice it are driving vehicles or looting, which you don't really need to drive vehicles in this game. I will touch on the vehicles here in a minute. But the netcode on this game is amazing. If any of you have tried to play PUBG with a 200, 300 ping, it's almost unplayable. And with this game, it's barely even noticeable. The only time I had any real problems playing this game was when I was also streaming the game. And even that just upped my ping a little bit more, and I was still able to actually play and stream. So honestly, it's amazing how good the netcode is. Next up is optimization. This game runs amazing. For being a game that's only been out, I think, a couple months, and still being in closed beta and being this well optimized where you can run it on high 60 frames per second with a mid-range PC is just amazing to me because it looks really good. The water effects when you're swimming and you can see underneath the water, the lighting effects are amazing. The environments are completely destructible. The shadows look really good. I haven't seen any physics bugs at all when it comes to cars flying up in the air or clipping into the ground and exploding, which is very common in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or somebody hitting a hill and just flying up in the air and then coming down, falling and dying. I've not seen any real physics bugs at all in this game, which is awesome. It is very well optimized. It blows the optimization of PUBG way out of the water. Now, PUBG is a lot better now, but if you were to put these games side by side based on the time frame of development, there's no way PUBG could even compete. Next is Gunplay. The gunplay in this game is really good. There are hit markers, so when you actually hit your opponent, you can kind of tell. It gives a small thud sound, and you see some white lines on your crosshairs, which is good when you're playing with a 200, 300 ping from North America to Asian servers. Not having those hit markers would probably be hard and very difficult. So having the hit markers there is actually really nice. Also, the hit detection is really good. Wherever you're aiming, if you know where you're firing, it's going to hit. Now, there is bullet time travel and there is bullet drops. So with this game, it's not hit scan. You're not just going to where exactly you're aiming, no matter how far away they are. If you fire the shot, it's not just going to automatically hit them. But it's also not RNG, so you can't just be aiming perfectly on somebody's head and have it miss by random. So it's actually really fun. It makes the game a lot faster paced and also makes it very arcadey feeling, which I really like. The next up is the UI. The UI in this game is awesome. Now, I know there's got to be a couple people out there that have done what I've done before in PUBG, and you've had a coat on, and you forgot, well, what level vest did I have on? I can't remember if I grabbed a level 1 or level 2 or level 2 or level 3, and you end up having to go into your inventory and see how much health it has left. Now, all that's displayed on your UI. When you have a helmet and you have a vest, it's all displayed down at the bottom near your health bar, so you can tell, okay, well, this says I've got a level 2 vest on, it's, losing some health, I might want to swap this out. Next up is sights and automatic pickup on weapons. This is a really cool feature this game has. Now, say you pick up an extended mag for a rifle and you've got an open slot on that rifle for that extended mag. It will automatically throw that mag on that rifle for you, so you just have to hit the reload button to get the extra 10-15 rounds in that magazine. Also, with the sights, you are allowed to equip 2 sights per weapon, and you can switch between those sights with Control V. Now, this is really awesome if you've got something like an M4 or an AK-47 and you want like a hollow or a red dot, but you also want to make sure you have a 2 or 4 times scope on there in case you need to hit long range. It's really cool, and it makes for without having to go into your inventory and actually manually switch the sights, it is just so much faster paced and funner when you can actually switch really quick, and then you're going from a red dot to a 2 times or 4 times, or you have a sniper and somebody is close enough for the 2 times, but then you need the 4 times, you can switch to that. It's really cool. It's a neat feature. It's something I wish PUBG had, because I hate sometimes being limited to a long range and a short range weapon and not being able to kind of switch very quickly. It's a really neat feature, and I think it's something I hope they put in PUBG one day. I don't see it happening though. Next up is the map and locations. Now, the map isn't as big as PUBG's, but it's also not as small as Fortnite's. It's kind of a good balance in between. Now, there are vehicles in the game, but I do not recommend using them, because just simply for the fact that they're already difficult to steer. This is the biggest problem, actually probably the only problem I have with this game, is the vehicles. Driving the vehicles is a nightmare, and they don't handle very well. And then when you add the fact that if you're playing from North America or Europe on Asian servers, you add that 1 second delay from your control when you're trying to turn, it makes driving the vehicles almost a nightmare. But you don't really need to. That's the beauty about this map, is the way the circle closes in, it actually does close in slower than your running speed. So if you get caught in the unsafe zone, or you get caught in the blue in this game, you can actually get out of it. Now, it can kill you. It does take, from what I've seen, it takes a lot more damage from your health, but you can get out of it, and you don't have to have a vehicle to get around from point A to point B. You can usually get from one point of the map to get in the circle just by running, and that's awesome. Now, when you drop into the map, you don't have parachutes, you have hang gliders. Now, while I don't like the design of jumping out of a plane with a hang glider, I think maybe they just did it to make it a little bit different from PUBG, but it does give a lot more control over where you're wanting to land. You can go a lot farther distances a lot faster jumping out of the plane. You can pretty much pinpoint where you want to land on the map with these hang gliders and land exactly where you want to. There's a lot more control there. It's not so much luck or hoping you can get over there, or moving super slow trying to rock your parachute back and forth trying to get in a spot. There's a lot more control, and you can land where you want to land, and the map is just awesome. There's a lot of really cool places to see. My favorite place to land is the theme park. I think it's called Whale World or something like that, but it's so cool because there's a lot to see. There's Ferris wheels and a bunch of giant animals, and it's really cool. The map's really well designed, and you don't need a vehicle to get around it, which is awesome. Next up is looting and the guns. Now, there's a lot more guns in this game than there are in PUBG. And there is no airdrops, so there aren't guns you're only gonna find from an airdrop that just randomly drops in the sky. There are no airdrops, and there's a ton of different guns you can get. There's a bunch of different variation of snipers, a bunch of different variation of rifles, SMGs. There's a ton of guns. There's more guns in this game than there are in PUBG. I mean, there's just no denying that. There are no melee weapons right now, though. I've noticed that there are no melee weapons. And right now, that makes me happy, because I don't think a close range fist fight or pan fight would really work out when I'm playing from North America and I'm playing on Asian servers. I think the delay there would be noticeable. So I think they might add melee weapons at one point in time. I wouldn't be shocked if they did, but they're not here yet. But when it comes to guns, there is a lot more guns. And the way the looting works is there's loot everywhere. It's not like PUBG where you're going to land and you're going to see, somebody go into a house next to you, you go into the house next to them, and all you find is a backpack and a crowbar, and they go in there and find a level 3 helmet, level 3 vest, scar, and just come out and melt you. There's nothing like that. You always have a fighting chance wherever you land. That's just how good this game is. Wherever you land, there's going to be weapons you can find, so you at least have a fighting chance. It might not be the best weapon, but you at least have a chance of defending yourself, which I really like. Now, I've had some people comment on other videos that I've been watching on this thing, and they say, well, you just want it easy. You just want it easy. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you don't. And it's not a matter of it being easy. It's really not, because if you think about it, it makes it more fair. If everybody has the same opportunity to find a weapon and defend themselves, it doesn't make it easier, it just makes it more fair. Because if you're the guy that finds the scar and the level 3 helmet and the level 3 vest in PUBG, and you're next to the guy that just found a crowbar, it's extremely easy for you to kill him, because it's almost pointless for him to even be there. So it just makes it more balanced, and I don't understand. That's one of the biggest complaints I've seen from people for this game, is they don't like that there's loot everywhere. And I think those people just really like landing someplace, looting really good, and then having an easy game because they're running into a bunch of people with no loot. Because that is one problem I have with PUBG, is sometimes I'll land in a town and I'll loot 5-6 houses and find a level 1 helmet, a level 1 vest, a level 1 backpack, and a pistol. So that's one thing I really do like about this game. No matter where you're going to land, you're going to have an opportunity to defend yourself. The next thing is, this game only starts you out with 60 players in a round. Now, I'm not sure if that's something that's going to carry over, if it's going to continue, or if it's just something they decided to do right now with the server sizes being so small, and they just want to make sure queue times are low. I honestly, the 60 players is not bad. With the map being in between Fortnite and PUBG's size, the 60 players really, it doesn't feel that much different than 100 players. Because normally when you jump into PUBG, everybody lands in the same populated area at the beginning of the match, and you lose 20-30 players in the first minute. So it doesn't really feel that different, because you are scattered out a lot more. Usually you land around 2 or 3 other people sometimes, depending on where you're landing. Or you could land and not find anybody till the end of the match, which I've had happen a few times, which was kind of boring, but at the same time was actually made for a really fun battle at the end, because it was me and 2 other guys, and I needed to make sure I could stay silent and take them out as much as possible. So it makes it fun. It kind of makes it scattered out a little bit, like makes it feel a lot more like H1Z1, where sometimes you can get in a lot of gunfights and a lot of fast-paced matches, but at the same time you can also usually find cover and avoid people if you need to. Okay, next up is Consumables. Now, this is something I really like. Now, there is no energy drinks or pain pills or anything like that, but there are the full med kits, which will heal you 100% of your health, and then there's the first aid kits, which will heal you a certain amount, and then you can't get past that. You can't use another first aid kit to heal you up the rest of the way, but you can use bandages. Bandages work the same way pain pills and Red Bulls in PUBG work. You can just use bandages to get you that little bit of health back until you're back at max health, which I like and I dislike at the same time. I think if we had maybe bandages and then also had pain pills, which did a little bit more healing, I think that would be a cool thing to do. But this game's really very new, so I don't anticipate them not to add anything else in the future. So that's something I think we could see in the future, but it does help that, you know, bandages aren't useless. Okay, now lastly is customization. Now, there's not a lot of customization options. You choose male, female, and there's some clothes, and it works a lot the same way PUBG did when it first came out, where you pay credits that you earn from winning games, and you unlock these crates, and they have clothes in them. Now, right now, the clothes are all rental. Like, when you open a crate, you get a shirt for 3 days or 7 days, and there's really nothing that special about any of them. The only cool thing I found that I want to keep is my panda hat that I found in a game yesterday. So there's not a whole lot of customization options right now. Now, I'm sure this will change, especially if it does come to North America, which if this game doesn't come to North America, I will be shocked. As being as well received as it's been from North American players and European players playing this game on Thailand servers, if they didn't bring this to America, I would actually really be shocked. Because this game, it is free to play. That is one thing I want to point out. I don't know if I've said it in the video. This game is free. It's going to be free when it comes out. It's a free-to-play game. It doesn't cost money. You don't have to pay $30 and get a buggy mess. This game is well optimized. The lighting looks good. The graphics look good. The gunplay is good. Really, the only complaint I have are the vehicles. I want the vehicles tuned up a little bit more, and that way it'll be a little bit easier whenever I finally do start using vehicles if it comes to North America. But other than that, there's really no complaints in this game. I keep seeing people comment on videos on YouTube saying that, well, it's laggy. Well, of course it's laggy. It's a little bit laggy. You're playing on an Asian server, but even still, like, it plays a lot smoother than PUBG does if you were playing with that level of ping, because the net code is just that much better. So if you hear anything negative about this game, honestly, you can make your own opinion about it, but take it with a grain of salt, because there are some people that just hate this game. And yes, it is a PUBG clone. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to say that Tencent didn't see what PUBG did and just decide they wanted to try to do it better. I'm not going to deny any of that. Because it's obvious that is what happened. I'm not going to sit there and play stupid and be like, oh no, this is a completely original concept. But no, PUBG did the same thing that Tencent's doing now when they made PUBG. After Brendan Green designed H1Z1, he left and then made PUBG because he wanted to make something a little bit more different. And I think that's what Tencent's done here, is they just wanted to do something a little bit different. I think the big problem with a lot of these developers coming out with these games, these Battle Royale style games, is that they're all trying to change them so much to have their own spin on it that it's just falling flat. It's happened with Radical Heights, it's happened with Death Toll, it's happened with Darwin Project. I've played the PTS of Realm Royale, it's happening with it. While the games are fun and slightly enjoyable, they're changing too much to where they're making the changes just to make it different, and it's not so much enjoyable as it is just different. And I think what this game does is it doesn't really change a whole lot. It just makes things better. They didn't change a lot. They didn't add a real new spin to it to give it its own unique concept. They just decided to take a formula that was working and improve upon it, and I think that's what needed to be done. So hopefully this game comes out in North America soon. If you guys want to check out this game, I highly recommend it. If you guys want me to post a video kind of explaining how to install this game and patch it in English, let me know down below and I'll make a video about that. It's fairly simple, and I'll make a written instruction too. I found my instructions on a Reddit post. A guy told me how to do it, so if you guys want to know how to do that, I will pass that information along in a video as well as a written guide, and I will see you guys next time.